Tell me about it. I had to start another one. So I have to get a new link.
People don't understand that when they don't have headphones, their sound is being picked up by their own microphones.
Yeah, but it was like in a loop. It kept saying the same things I was saying.
Yeah, like 5 times.
Okay, well, live and learn.
Yep.
Okay, and we had Peggy. We had viewers, so that was.
Did they stay with the session? Or are they back? Or
No, because I have to create a new one once I end it.
Yep.
I have to create a new one, so they won't know it until I tweet it to them. I'm trying to get the other two in, but they may just go to Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I need somebody to run Twitter at the same time I'm running the GHO. So when I have issues.
It's too much.
Okay, so where are the Q&A? Okay, so it'll be just us, and let's see. Kim has gone to Twitter. So it'll be me and you, and if Miss Sunshine can join us, I will.
Where's Adam?
I have no idea.
What about, so these Twitter people, do they see questions that you have to retype the questions in?
No, it's auto posting. So as I'm talking in the GHO, I have I have a schedule, and when the time hits, it'll send out my tweets. So yeah, that's how I do Twitter chats.
If I type a question and they won't see it, will they?
No, you have to be in the chat for the Twitter people to see it. Okay, Miss Sunshine, welcome. We're having all kinds of tech issues. Do you have earbuds or headphones?
It's just on.
It's just on. Okay. Well, hopefully we won't get feedback.
Okay.
When you
do, yeah, if I need to.
Yeah, if you need to, that'd be great. Just for future references, when you do GHOs, it's sometimes best to have them so that we're not getting the feedback, and it does record it.
Okay.
Okay, so they are on. I have no idea what question they're on right now. I want to say 2, but let's go ahead and answer question 1. So let me see. While I'm pulling up question 1, would you please introduce yourself, is it Mrs. or Miss Sunshine? Oh, now you muted yourself.
I am so sorry.
It's okay.
Uh-oh. Now someone, there you are. You were gone. You can just call me Sunshine.
Just Sunshine? Okay.
Sorry.
I love that.
The account we were using is the one I use at school. And so that's why it said that. I didn't even realize it said that. I wasn't paying attention, I guess.
Okay, so what is your first name? Is it Sunshine?
It is Sunshine, yes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So anyway, I teach 2nd grade, or I did this past year. Are you getting too much feedback? Do I need to put earbuds in?
You're good.
Okay. But I mostly teach elementary school. I have taught elementary school. But where are you all?
I'm in Kansas, and I teach middle school. And Doug, where are you again?
I'm in the mid-coast of Maine, and I teach junior high.
Wow. Well, I'm in Texas. Where all the rain
Central Time. Well, did you guys get the tornadoes too the last couple of weeks?
Not where I am. No.
You're lucky you.
Yeah. Whoa.
Sorry. Okay. Before we had technical difficulties, I presented the very first question as a question. So the question is, how would you have your students solve this math problem, which has a greater area, a square or a 2 equilateral triangles with sides of the same square? So as a teacher, how would you have your students solve this problem? Oh, where did I go? I lost my screen. Are you guys there?
Yep.
Okay. Make sure I didn't close anything.
It just kind of comes and goes. It popped up and said you weren't presenting, but you are. I see you.
I'm here. I swear. Okay, while you two are coming up with an answer to that question, I'm going to see what they said in Twitter. Okay, so how would you have your students solve that problem? Especially, it's an elementary problem. So, Doug, I'm sure you can come up with an answer.
I'm not sure I can come up with an elementary answer, though.
Oh, well, then come up with the middle school answer.
Well, they'd have to learn the formulas for finding the areas for those two shapes and then just do some simple comparisons.
Okay. And Sunshine, how would you have your students?
Well, that's something we started out with by doing with pattern blocks, actually giving them to have in their hands to see that, that's something I would do for sure, giving them the actual shapes to mess with.
In Twitter, they said the same thing, manipulatives, using hands-on approach to have students solve the problem. There's lots of ways to do that because there's not, at the middle school, we're wanting them to have the area. We want them to have the problem in the high school. We want them to know how to solve it. The grade school, elementary school, we want them to visually see that the shapes are different and they do have different areas.
Right.
So that we would want the hands-on visual part. Okay, very good. So we are going to move, they're on question 3, so we're going to move to question 2 really quick.
Okay.
So let me go back to showing my screen.
I lost one.
We're going to play catch up to the Twitter people.
Okay.
Okay, so question 2, do you see it?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Because I'm a tech teacher, I think of technology in ways that I can use as a tool to help solve math problems. So what online tools could you have used to solve this problem with your kids? And I gave you a couple that I thought were really cool. One is from Math Playground. It's an online geoboard. So I thought kids could make the shapes using the bands on the geoboard. And again, an online pattern blocks, having the blocks there and kids can play around with the virtual blocks. So, this switching back and forth is crazy.
We've actually done that same thing with the Math Playground also, actually with my students, and that was good. There's also an app that I've used on with iPad.
You're jumping ahead. That's the next question.
Oh, okay, I won't go there. But yes, I did. We've used the Math Playground for sure in the kids. It was honestly though it was after they had them in their hands. I feel like that was necessary to do first. So
yes, especially with the younger kids, for them, the textile part, for them to feel it and to actually move it around. Then they felt it. Then it's easier for them to move it around on the screen. I totally agree with that. What kind of online tools do you use at the middle school level, Doug?
So here's the Algebra 1 book. Hold on. To advanced algebra students in the 8th grade. And
I was going to show that.
Hold on. I didn't mean that to happen, Peg. Hold on a second. Yeah, I've tried a lot of them. The GeoGebra tools, we used to have subscription to this app called GeoGebra, and that was basically hands-on thing. Our big thing in our school, though, is an online program we use called Alex, and kids from grade 4 through 8 use this, and it's just the best online math thing I've ever seen in my life. The problem with it is it's very expensive. A license for the licenses are very expensive, and we use it as a supplement, and it's just way awesome. And it connects with any textbooks that you might be using. It's already core set up for Common Core, and it's a really robust interface, and it really has really boosted our district's math scores considerably. And again, the only drawback is the expense of the licenses. And my school is very small, it's rural, and our budgets are not certainly like the New York City school system by any stretch of the imagination. So, but if you ever get the gumption and you're serious about your math curriculum, I would look into ALEKS. It's really an awesome tool.
Awesome.
Are you familiar with that at all, Katie Ann?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's just, they did this right. They did a digital online math program. They did it right.
I will have to. Can you tweet that out too? That resource so that the people on Twitter can also have it.
Yep.
I am also tweeting out your video clip. So don't tweet that out.
I don't have Twitter open right now, actually. So.
Okay. So when you do, if you can share that, and don't forget to tag it with the AR for Learning.
Yep.
Okay. On the Twitter side, they were also saying the Math Playground is a really great web tool. There's others out there. Like Study Island. There are other tools out there. So you find the one. Some are free, some are paid, and you find the one that works best for your school and your students. Okay, great answers. We are going to move on to question number 3, which they're going on to 4, so we're 1 behind, which is okay.
Thank Peggy for me, because she put a note up there making what I was trying to say clear.
Thank you, Peggy, and I will tweet that out too. Okay, so question number 3. This is the apps. What app could you have used to solve the problem? And there are tons out there. Whiteboards, there's several different kinds. GeoBoard app, Educreations, Explain Everything are my 2 favorite ones. And then there's also called Tangible Maps, which has oh God, if I could speak. It has tools that you can move around on your screen. So these are some of the ones that I have used with my own kids and some of my students. So let me stop that, and I will ask you two which apps that you would use with your students.
Well, I do use Explain Everything, but I don't use it for math so much. And a lot of our students have little grease boards with markers, and I forget what the name of the app is, but there's another app on the iPad we use that works just like it. They can draw figures, and it does, it will take hand-drawn numbers on the screen and convert them into real digital text and do operations on them. So those are digital grease boards, I call them, or digital whiteboards. I call them. Kids will use those. So.
Yeah, kids like this. What about you, Sunshine?
Well, and the ones that you, of course, a lot of the ones, that was the one I was going to talk about, the one that you put up there with the GeoBoard there, that they can actually pull the faux rubber bands around there and make those shapes. We use that one quite a bit, and I thought, I don't have quite the right iPad in here, but I wish I did, because then I'd be looking at the right one. But sorry, lost my train of thought there. But that was the one I was going to mention a while ago, and then I'll have to tweet out the list of them, because.
Yes, please do that, and the ones that you use, and don't forget to use the hashtag AR for Learning, so that when I storyfy the chat and the video, it's all together.
Okay.
On the Twitter side, they're saying Educreations, ScreenChomp, and ScreenChomp is really good because you can have kids, like Doug says, draw and figure it out, and you can use ScreenChomp to take a picture of it, and then kids can, turn that in digitally if you're doing an LMS way to turn in math, such as Edmodo, and I should wear my Edmodo shirt today. Edmodo, Google Classroom, and all that. So, it's possible to have math paperless and turn in assignments that way too. So that's just my little I'm not going to get on my soapbox with that, but it is possible. Okay, so we have caught up there on question number 4. So we are going to move to question number 4. If I can do this without messing up my computer. Okay. Do you see my screen? Okay. So,
yes.
Okay, question number 4 is, do you have a math center or a self-check area? If so, how did you create it and how do you use it? So do you have an area that kids can go and check answers or practice and have it self-check so that it's student-centered and not teacher-centered area type thing, or a math center?
Go ahead, Doug. It looked like he was ready. Oh, he's muted.
You're muted, Doug.
What I do is so specialized. I mean, I have a hand-picked 3 to 5 kids who are in the 8th grade who get the opportunity to test out of algebra before they go to high school. So this is a much more of a classical situation with a new type of rigor. But I think our primary school teachers have things that are like that, and I can't go into those details, so I'll turn it over to maybe Sunshine.
Okay. I do. I do math stations like that every week. I mean, that's kind of how I teach math. So that's what we.
Okay. Hang on, I was going to show. I tweeted it out and I didn't have my page ready.
Oh. Well, okay.
So give me one, because I have an example of an augmented self-check.
Oh, that's fun.
I know, right? And I'm really into this augmented stuff.
Hey, the kids were really into it also. They loved it.
And my computer is going like really slow, and I don't know why. I think it's because I'm using all of my techie powers today. Okay, so let me go and share my screen so I can show you. And it's been tweeted out for those that are watching. And I used BlipBar for this. It's called a fraction butterfly. And this is just an example. You could do it in many ways. When you scan this, and you have to use the BlipBar app, and with BlipBar you do have to enter in a code, and I have my codes broken up into subject. Like I have one code just for math, so anything math related, it'll all be the same code. One code for language arts, one code for presentations and stuff. So when the kids scan this, they're going to get instructions on how to solve a fraction using the fraction butterfly. So it's self-check. So if this was the actual fraction that I was having them work on, if they scanned it, they would get the right answer plus instructions how to do it with the butterfly. So this is just an example of a way you can have a self-check. You can have these cards already made, and kids can go pull out the card, check, scan it, check to see if they got it right, which would be, fun, interactive, engaging way to do math.
That's awesome. Let's try that.
I would love to help you make those.
Well, yeah, and I've done something very similar to that with life cycles, which is totally not this, but that's what that reminded me of. That's what I did that with. But we did something very similar to that with 3D shapes is what I did that one with. And it's very nice because they get that instant feedback that you can't give them when you're not over there. Because,
right.
When I'm doing guided math and I've got a group, these people are in stations, they need that. They need that feedback immediately, or they're just being silly. They don't know. It's a kind of useless time, I guess, while they're in station, doing station. So.
Doug, do I remember the woes each had with Valkyrie and Lightspeed? Yes, I remember the woes. Are you having woes? I always have those.
Yeah, the same problem has been happening with Blipper for the last month.
Oh, you're kidding.
Have not been able to solve filter issues yet, and I'm really kind of upset about it. I have Stephen O'Mahony working on it, but it's not moving very far.
See, we use Lightspeed, and they are blocking Dockery, I'm not using Dockery anymore, so I don't know if they ever fixed it, and on that, and the only one they're opening, and the ones that are working is Flipart.
Wow. I don't know. I hope they do something because I did a lot of porting of a whole bunch of AR stuff from Daiquiri, some from Layer into Blipper, and I've been dead in the water now for about 5 weeks.
Yeah, all school year I was dead in the water.
Something that might be really good for the older kids is ThingLink.
Yes, and I'm going to, because they're are doing 360s with ThingLink, and I know I can augment those. But I'm not for sure if I can augment the 360s. I'm sure it'll probably do the same, but that's on my to-do list in the next couple weeks is to have some examples of those for people, especially with social studies. If I could get a 360 of a landmark or something and then have the touch points, I think that would just be mind-blowing for kids.
Yeah, it would. They love it.
Okay. But that's for social studies.
Yeah,
we gotta go back
about that. Sorry.
We gotta go back to that. Okay, so on the Twitter side, Jerica does have math centers, which I think is a great way of having kids focus on a certain task or a certain topic or benchmark or whatever it is that you need to focus on, and kids can get extra practice. And if we add a little augmented stuff to that, that's going to keep them engaged. So when you are with your other kids, they're not goofing off and they're getting what they need done. So, and I'm going to show you an example towards the end of how to maybe set up a augmented math center. Before we do that, and I already posted in Twitter, I am giving away a digital copy of my book. You do have to fill out the form, and the link is in Twitter, and you click on it, and you enter in your name, and towards the end of our chat, I will be putting all the names into a random name picker, and then I will be giving away a digital copy. So if you have not done that, you might want to take a moment to fill out that form, and you'll have to be in Twitter, Doug, to go get the link. So you might want to do it later.
No, you can just send me a copy, Katie.
Just send you a copy.
Come on, man. I thought I had an in here.
Well, we'll see.
I think I filled it out.
I think you did too. There's like 60 names, and I kind of glanced through them before the chat started to see if there were any duplicates, because some people were filling it out like 3 or 4 times. So I had to go clean it up just a little bit.
Well,
okay.
If I did it, it was only because I didn't remember I did. I promise.
It's okay. Okay, so we are going to move on to question 5, which has been posted in Twitter. So we'll move on to that one. I really need to get a better system here. Okay. Come on, computer, do what I want. Share my screen. Come on. And they try to get it away so it doesn't look like the endless tunnel of screens. Ooh. Okay, so oops, that's 4. Do you see 5 yet? Hello. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. I can't see head shaking when I'm on the sharing screen side. So, number 5, what other tools do you use to help students understand the math concept, and how do you use those tools? I am going to, while you guys are thinking that, I am going to share what Terry has said in Twitter. She offers places for them to draw, or ways for them to draw manipulatives. She has them explore and talk it out. And Peggy is just posting resources. Awesome, Peggy. You are a lifesaver. You really are. Okay, so let's stop sharing. What other tools do you use to help teach a math concept? And try to say ones we haven't said.
Okay.
A lot of my AR incorporates Salman Khan, and I realize this is for older kids, but I depend heavily on a lot of his video works, which I think are outstanding. And I get to really kind of cherry pick that massive thing known as the Khan Academy. That thing is huge. And I try not to turn students loose in there because it's really easy to get lost in that rather large universe. So, and I've made it his work with the texts that I'm working with in a very specific way, which is really powerful.
And Khan Academy is a great resource, a great tool. Yep. Okay, Sunshine, what other tools do you use to teach math?
I really like to use Front Row. It's good. It's really good. It has an app, but it's also online. See, I've used this year. A new thing I started using was MathGames.com. The kids loved the games because they really didn't even notice they were practicing those skills, and they really were, because the games were actually quite fun. Gosh, there's so many. Send out a list of tons, but there's ArtGig has lots of really good apps that they have made that are really good for younger children for math concepts. So I like to give them those options. Obviously, when things are new, starting out, we use lots of manipulatives because I feel like they've got to have that, if it's possible, to have them in their hands. They've got to start there and then go, from there. But when we're practicing that stuff, and especially when it's guided math and they're having to go to those stations, they have to want to be there, and that just draws them to it. I mean, I've done, I want to say it's PBS had this really great virtual reality type AR type app that we used this year that was great. There's just hold the little iPads over the little target, and it was a game, but doing the skill, and it's just experimenting with all of those different ways of practicing that same math skill. But I'll have to tweet out. I'll have to tell you what these names are because I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I can't think of them off the top of my head because I do use a lot of different ones, but off the top of my head, those were the ones I could think of because they were the kids' favorites of the year.
In the Twitter sphere over there, they're talking about LearnZillion is another great site for video tutorials, yes. Whiteboards, etc. Things that kids can go to or go and put in their hands. The hands are touching it. And that's what I think augmented reality for me, because kids are actually doing it and they can move things around, and it's engaging, it's interactive. It's not just a worksheet. It's not just writing about it. Which writing is a great tool too. Explain why you think this is the answer. Augmented interactive student notebooks is a huge push that I'm working on, trying to get people to see that you can go beyond the foldable. Yes, the foldable is interactive because the kids are folding and touching it, but bring in the other digital resources with it. So that's for another day. That's another chat too.
Because I could see that being really cool.
It is. It is awesome, and I'm glad a teacher showed me their notebook, and I'm like, let me augment that for you, and I did, and the kids are like just blown away about it. And that's how you do with your, when you get to use it, your textbook that you augmented, right? There, Doug?
Yep.
Because, it just brings in the digital parts and the interactive, and it's just another tool to use.
And that's kind of what they're used to. It just kind of helps entertain their I guess
their brain.
their generation.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it's not the same as when we went to school at all.
No.
When we were in school, our parents did the same thing. It's not the same. And
Thank
no,
God.
it's not.
Thank God.
That's true.
And Doug does have a book, and he posted in here, so you have to tweet it out too, Doug, where you can go. It's in the iBooks store, right? You can.
Yeah, it's in iTunes.
iTunes, and you can go in and how to use augmented reality. Is it in math or just how to use augmented reality? I looked at it. It's been a while.
In the classroom.
In the
Augmented
classroom.
reality in the classroom.
See what happens when you go to write your own, and that's all you can think about.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to move on. That was question 5, right? We're going to move on to question 6. But before we do that, I did promise giving away a copy of my book. So give me 2 seconds while I import all these names. Oh, we've got a lot of names. Okay, so come on, copy.
So what would happen if I tried to join this Twitter link now?
Which Twitter link? The new one or the old one?
The one you're on now.
You try to join the Twitter link? You can be in Twitter and this at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, I can do it because I'm at home. Twitter is blocked at our school.
Yeah. Schools are weird like that.
Yeah. Let's block the wording, right? Okay, one more copy paste. And da-da-da-da-da. Come on, my computer is like going really slow. And our lucky winner is Sabrina. So let me tweet her out. Oh, and I timed it perfect because I released the and the winner is on Twitter. Sometimes I amaze myself. Okay, and the winner is Sabrina. I'll have to email it to her. Okay, so close the random name generator. And we're going to go to question 6. Wrong screen. Where's my screen? Okay, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the question is, what augmented reality tools have you used with your students to help you teach a math concept, and how did you use them? Now, if, let's see, Brian was on, he would say he likes to use, Quiver has those ones that you can fill in, like the dot. So he would have them do math problems on that and have it come to life. Or, let's see, how else has he done it?
The math problem comes to life?
Well, the thing comes to life. It's a ball. It dances, and it's just a different way to look at a math problem, I guess.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
See that?
AR flashcards has augmented math flashcards now, which would be a tool that you could use. I'm trying to think of other coloring pages, but I can't think. Most of those are I use them for writing or creating or setting a setting. Doug.
Yes.
What augmented tool would you use other than augmenting the book and using Blipper or Daiquiri would you use for a math concept? I know I'm making you really think.
You are. I mean, there's been a lot of emphasis in the last year or two about connecting math to real world problems. Math has gotten very language oriented for some of the upper grades and the new textbooks and things like that. So I guess I'm just trying to find ways to incorporate more video into teaching math, where you don't always have access to certain parts of the real world that are practical. So we did some work with I don't know, some minor engineering things like some construction projects, or we had a garden project where we were designing gardens, and I was using those to deal with volumes and surface areas and things like that. And that's interesting because the tools don't really matter at that point. You can use whatever AR tools you're comfortable with, but finding a way to connect the real world with what kids are traditionally dealing with in textbooks, I think, can help with their buy-in and their understanding of things. So, if that makes any sense.
It does. And especially with gardening, volume, that would be awesome. The volume of a pot, how much dirt do you need, and how much space do you need to leave to put in the plant?
They made some raised beds at our school out of 4x4s, and they had to order materials, and they had to figure out how much stuff to order.
That's real world problem solving in this math.
No, I don't use math. I'm never going to use this math in my life. Well, then you're going to be buying groceries at the grocery store all your life, and you never have a garden. So things like that.
Okay, Sunshine, you said this is your first, so you haven't really had a chance to use augmented tools, but I can tell you if you follow us, we share out all the tools that we use, and I have tons on my blog and ways how to use them. So feel free to steal or borrow my resources. They're there for you. Okay, so Twitter World has moved on to question number 7. So we will try that. The next time I do a video one, I'm going to have to rope somebody into helping me. So just FYI for the future, if you're watching or reading in tweets, Katie needs help. Okay, so can you see my screen? No, it's not going. Oh, there it goes.
I can see you. Oh.
Did it go? Question 7?
Yes.
Okay, so question 7. What if you augmented your math center, or this is when I'm going to share an example, a math center or self-check area, how might that look or work? Well, so, can I show your video first before you, I want to quit sharing, before you answer, Doug?
Sure.
Okay, hang on.
We'll see it. Just the 3 of us are going to see it, right?
Well, it's going to be recorded, and we keep getting viewers popping in and out.
Let's see how it works.
Okay, so if I go share my screen, and then I go, and I push play, do you see black?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know about the sound, though. You have to tell me if you hear it.
Okay.
Do you hear it?
No.
There might be too much bandwidth.
That's correct. And I've enriched this book in many different ways with custom HTML and 3D objects and audio files. When they come into school the first day, they can hear instructions. Welcome to your algebra class. Just a few words here. Algebra, and we'll play that whole thing. Here's something you guys did really well in your test, right? Great. Yeah, your homework is... These little accordion widgets I made using scripting languages and these all link to video content, mostly on the Khan Academy. For instance, if I click that, this will take them to a very specific place in the world of YouTube and the Khan Academy.
Okay, could you hear that?
Yes.
Did I lose you?
No.
You could hear it?
Yes, I could.
Now I can't hear anybody.
Yes, I could hear it.
Oh, technology.
Yes.
I lost sound. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear anything. Oh, technology today is not my friend. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Katie, what was happening there? It was working fine for us.
Yeah.
Katie, can you hear us?
Are you there?
Yep.
Yes.
I love technology. That's why I teach it. Okay, I don't know what I did, but I lost sound. Crazy. I'm gonna go back and laugh at this, right? Okay, so I'm gonna show an example, okay, and then I'm gonna let you talk about, and I'll work on my sound, and talk about. So maybe if I should reshare, it might fix the problem. I don't know. Okay, so an example. Hopefully you can see my screen. My screen if I don't share it. Is I augmented this picture right here, and it has the same math problem that I started off with the chat. And when you scan it, it's now interactive, and it'll give you two definitions. You have to click on them. One for area, if kids don't know the definition or what is area. And I was thinking elementary. And then one for equilateral triangle, so if they weren't for sure what exactly an equilateral triangle was, there's a definition with the picture. And they have to click on them to get it. And then I have a app or an online source that works on an iPad, so it doesn't have flash, or any other tablet, so kids can go and move the manipulatives around and try to solve the problem using that. And then I posted, because if I was doing this, I would have them write what tools, or I would have them write what they thought the answer was and why they thought it was that. So, and you can put this picture into an interactive notebook as well. You can have it in a center. You can have it as like a laminated flashcard, and you can have several of these and have kids. And this puts the independent learning. So when if I'm with other kids, they can pull these out. They can work the problem, and there's some tools right there that they can use to help them solve it. So that was kind of an example of how you can augment a learning center, or you can use as a book kind of thing. And I still can't hear. I have no idea what's going on. Am I muted on you? I know you hear me, so I don't understand.
Well, we can hear you fine.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I don't hear anything. I played your video and then I lost sound.
Maybe you could close that window.
That's all your fault. No, it's not. It's my computer's fault.
So you can't hear me?
I can't hear. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's recording sound or if it's just, I have no idea.
So you can't hear me, Katie? We
No,
can
can't hear you.
hear you.
It's like completely dead on my computer.
Heard the
I can't hear Sunshine either. And my volume's all the way up, so I don't understand. See, it has to be my computer.
Perhaps you are out.
Okay, so that we're not going to run out of too much time, I'm just going to let you. I'm out of a lot of things. I don't know if it's resources. You augmented, and I showed your video. Peggy says she can hear everyone but me.
Yep.
See, if I close everything, I'm going to lose the recording.
And we'll all end.
So maybe this is the techie gods telling me it's time for me to go to bed.
What Twitter
Oh.
channel do I post to?
You will post to AR for Learning.
Okay.
Okay, thank you both for joining with me, and hopefully the recording has some sound to it. Thank you so much. If you have questions or need help, Sunshine, just holler, okay?
That's it.
Okay, well, good night.